Today in chapel, we're going to talk about a very important person. His name is Moses. And God talked to Moses and had Moses to be a helper for him. Long ago, there was a king who was not a very nice king. He had been doing some very bad things. And there was a mommy who loved her baby very much, but she was afraid that she was not going to be able to take care of her baby. So she thought the best thing that she could do is to put her baby in a basket and take him down by the river, and maybe someone else could find him that maybe could take care of him better than she could. So the mommy places the baby into the river and it begins to float down the river. But just like the mom had thought, somebody did find the baby. A princess had found the baby. And she took that baby out of the water, and I think she gave that baby a great big hug. And she said, I have a special name for you. I am going to name you Moses, which means to take out of the water. And that princess was so happy that she took baby Moses back to the palace with her, and he was raised as a prince. Well, when Moses grew up and became a young man, he had lived in the palace, but he had done some bad things. He did something that was not very nice. He was very concerned about that. So he decided to go away by himself and to pray to God on the bad choices that he had made. When he was there praying, there was a burning bush that appeared with flames on it. And the flames were actually part of the way that God talked to Moses. The bush did not burn up like most bushes would. It actually continued to burn. And the bush was a representation of God talking to Moses. He said, "You are on holy ground. You need to remove your sandals." And Moses did. God shared with Moses that he needed to go back to Egypt and to tell King Pharaoh to let the slaves go. And that is what Moses did. He followed the rules that God had given him. So while Moses is going back to the city, he is going to talk to a mighty king. That king's name is Pharaoh. Pharaoh was not a very nice person, but Moses was not afraid of Pharaoh. Moses comes in and shares with him what he had learned from the burning bush. And he said, "Pharaoh, you need to let my people go." Moses had a large staff. It's like a big stick. And he wanted to show Pharaoh that he had been listening to what God said. And so he laid the stick down, and the stick turns into a snake. I don't like snakes. Turned into the snake, and Moses says, "Pharaoh, now will you let my people go?" What do you think Pharaoh said? "No, I will not let your people go." Moses tells Pharaoh, there's going to be a lot of bad things that are going to happen if you don't let my people go. And you know what, friends? There were a lot of things called plagues that happened, like big frogs that were jumping all around. Can you imagine having frogs everywhere just jumping all around? Moses again asking Pharaoh, "Will you let my people go?" Pharaoh said no. Then there was a lot of locusts and grasshoppers, and they ate a lot of the grain, so people didn't have a lot of food to eat. Once again, Moses said, "Will you let my people go?" Pharaoh said no. And then there was all kinds of flies. They just landed all over everything, really yucky. Again, Moses asked, "Will you let my people go?" Moses said, "No, I will not let your people go." Then there was another plague that happened. You know, we all have to have water to drink, and a lot of our food, such as fish, live in water. One of the plagues that happened is the water was turned into blood. So we have clear water, and it turned into blood. You see how the water is beginning to change? Just imagine if that's what you were trying to drink. How could you drink that? You couldn't. Bad things continued to happen. And finally, Moses goes to Pharaoh one more time. He says, Pharaoh, will you let my people go? Pharaoh was tired and a lot had happened, and he said, yes, I will let your people go. And Moses took the people and led out of the country. That is a powerful story that we have that's in the Bible. And we are so thankful that Moses chose to listen to God, just like we need to listen to God. Let's say our prayer. Dear God, thank you for always watching over us, whether we're little or we're big. Help us to listen and do the right things that you would have us to do and to obey you. Thank you for all the ways you bless us. Amen. Have a great week, friends, and we look forward to seeing you next week back in chapel.